Doodlebud Andhand. That's right. The name is Andhand. They're out of the UK. New brand to me. They started in 2020. They have some other kind of desk supplies, pens, and some cool rulers and tape dispensers and whatnot. They decided to do a fountain pen. This is it. It came in this package, their very first fountain pen. It's not in the box anymore because it's in my hand. And it is a funky, cool looking little pen. Unique design. I like it. It's there's a few different materials. So this is a mix. Aluminum and brass, full brass and stainless steel. And you got their little logo right here on the barrel. Very simple, minimalist design, but it's made very well. You got some flats that are on here. They don't act as a roll stop. You can hear them when you roll it though, but it's not going to stop the pen from rolling. But nice and sleek, has a little taper to it. And the best part of this kit, well, I mean, it writes really, really well. But to me, the best part is the slip cap. It slips on there and has a beautiful little snap sound to that. And it's one of these kind of fidget spinner things where you want to do this all day long. Here, let's give you a little sound. And now up to the microphone. It is truly blissful. I even wrote back and said, that must have taken you a good amount of time to get that just right. They kind of laughed and said, yeah, that was a bit of fiddling with to get it just dialed in. And so the inner bits here, I'm just going to unscrew it as I bash my fingernail. Let me get a screwdriver. Actually, I just found a US penny. We don't have pennies up here in Canada anymore. So yeah, there we go. Slide this out here. I'll unthread it, I should say. It just screws out, and it's real simple little bits inside. There's a little chunk of foam to gently compress this here. This almost looks like a cartridge, but it's just a thin little piece of plastic that's injection molded, right? And there's just a little ridge in here, and that's what goes against and gives a lovely seal and slip onto the end of the section. So it just goes over this little ridge right there. Once it gets over that, you got a little taper on the front. That takes a bit to get everything just right, which is quite nice. And the snap you hear is finally when the end of the cap here hits the end of the brass section, and it's a gorgeous little sound. And to keep things simple, there's just a tiny little bore down in there. This just slips in. You pop that on top and you snug down your little screw. And that's all there is to it. A couple little holes here on the side. That must be to allow the air to escape when you snug it down in there. The cap does post nicely and securely onto the back of the pen. Doesn't post very deep, but it is on there quite secure. It's not going to fall off, so then it extends it to a longer pen to suit a larger hand, sort of like mine. I do find, though, the pen looks better unposted, just to kind of keep those lines and the whole design looking good. It pops on the back. It's nice and secure. It's functional. But that nice little sweeping taper, then it pops up, and then you got your end here. What's that, octagonal? I think it's got 8 sides. Yeah, I think so. There we go. So yeah, it works, but I just find it looks better this way. I'll give you here. Let me give you the dimensions so you know how big it is. And now I actually enjoy measuring things since I upgraded my calipers. The other ones are just terrible. They just slide so nicely in the little wheel. You can, consistently, accurately move it 10 micron, and you got that touch. Like, you can control it. You can't do that with the cheap ones anyways. Length. Well, it's probably a little better than that. There we go. 124. I love it when it's a whole number. Just the pen is 117.5. Posted is about 158. 12 millimeter body diameter. We start the section at 10 millimeters, tapers down to about 7.5, and it's about 23 millimeters long. How much does it mass? Let's see. 24.25. That's with a cartridge. Just the pen, 17.3. Converter is included. Little Schmidt converter. I think this is the K5. And for the box, what you see is what you get. Paper, recyclable. I like that. Basic stuff on the inside. A couple little details here on the back as it says 100% metal. Keep away from children. Not really for their safety. Well, I guess because if they break your pen, maybe they got to be concerned about their safety. They'll bend a nib as soon as you give them a pen. They're designed in the UK. Nib is German. It's made in China. That's where the manufacturing's done. All the parts come back for assembly in QC back in the UK. Check out their site and their socials. Nib, it's a number 5 size nib, so the smaller one. It fits nicely with the pen. They started off with just a medium. They updated me a couple of days ago. Now they also have a fine and a broad nib available for the pen. Here's a closer look at the section and the ABS plastic feed here in the bottom. It unscrews nicely and everything just fits extremely well. There's the cartridge. I'm using a Pelican 4001 Royal Blue, and bumping the tripod and you're wiggling, but you can see that nice little cone they have on both sides. And this is a nice little detail. This is the difference when people take time and think about it, make a few versions and go, well, it doesn't quite look great. And they get a little idea and they leave just a little bit of that brass for you to see. And I think that really sets off the pen. I'd almost say you could maybe go a little bit more, almost increase that instead of it having come to a kind of conical on two sides. You could almost increase that and have a little flat just to show off a little more brass ring possibly. Anyways, that's just a personal opinion idea. But that was a nice little touch. I think that really sets it off because you got the brass up here too. Brass and black to me is one of the best combinations on a pen. It looks fantastic. And then this will patina and age over time. You can polish it up and shine it up if you like to keep it all nice and brilliant, or just let nature take its course and show you what it's going to do to it. And to me, that's kind of my personal preference. For their first pen, they said they wanted something that was just like a real daily carry, take it with you anywhere type pen. And this, yeah, I can totally see that with this design. It's really functional, very comfortable in the hand. It is a small little pen. I got what I think is a pretty close comparison for a visual reference here is a Pilot Prera in the background. I have a fairly large hand, but I think for the average person, this is going to fit your hand quite comfortably. They're planning to do a few other models. I mentioned to them, I think a nice maybe second pen, your second design would just be the bigger brother. So a little bit longer, I would say probably about 20 millimeters longer, and then a little thicker as well. So if it was a little chunkier, a little thicker in the body, thicker in the grip, but same type of ratios and proportions, that would be sort of a nice second progression on the lineup for your fountain pens. But the big thing a pen has to do is has to write, obviously, have a nice nib. This is a medium. We'll do a writing sample in a moment. Writes wonderfully out of the box. I put it in the ink cartridge. It wrote, and it's been perfect. Another thing, it has to seal properly. And, you know, with a metal pen and a slip cap, and if you don't do it right, it's not going to seal properly. This thing's been perfect. No sealing issues whatsoever. And a daily carry pen has to be one of those pens where maybe it doesn't get written with for a week or two because maybe it was in a different bag or a different jacket or just whatever it was, but it needs to be dependable. You just pull it out and write and away you go. And a Pilot Prera is a really great daily carry dependable pen. Very popular as well. Also has a lovely slip cap. It's the same type of thing, but this is much softer and more subtle. This one's got more of a just boom, and you feel, I can't describe feeling, but it is just really, really good. I understand what it takes to just refine those little details and get things just so, and it's quite rewarding when you do that. Now I have the swabs in the back because I know people are going to ask. I did a chat on this already and told you it's not a big deal, but we're going to do it anyways. The brass they use, you always wonder, is there lead? I talked about this. It is not a problem whatsoever. The brass they use is an H62. It has less than 0.08% lead. Again, you're not going to get lead poisoning from that. But to be thorough, I got my little swabs here. I'm actually really interested if these things can pick it up because that is an insanely small amount. But who knows, maybe these are very sensitive. We got it ready there. 30 seconds, here we go. Oh, barely. That's impressive. It could see just a little bit. There's like so nothing. So I'm actually more impressed with these things. You get them really cheap and they are quite sensitive. Anyways, it's less than 0.08%, so you don't need to worry, and this is actually a higher quality brass. I thought these two were cute together. So here we have the Pilot Prera, and here we have the andhand method pen. And so just a touch longer, but it's very similar as far as sizes and diameters. These are mega popular, so I chose just this one pen here for the size comparison today. Let's pop off the caps again. The Prera is significantly shorter. Like my daughter can use it unposted, but most folks I think are going to post it. So this was, you got some more length on this one, and it's just sort of on the barrier. If it was any shorter, I don't think I could write with it not posted, but you can post it on there as well. The Prera does post a little bit deeper, and just aesthetically I think it looks a little bit better with it posted. But yeah, I'm for a very first fountain pen, even just for any pen, honestly, if they made 10 fountain pens so far, I've been very happy with it. I think it looks really sharp. Even just the font for their logo on the pen here, I think it looks really good. Just it all ties together quite nicely. And not only that is it good to look at, it writes extremely well. And yeah, that brass with that black just sets it off. So I think I'll give a hand to andhand for making a cool little pen. Thanks for entering into the world of fountain pens and showing us what you got, what you've been thinking about. That's the thing, when you design a pen, really it's a blank page. Usually you get kind of an idea in your head, maybe sketch a few things, think about it, but you got to go through the process of coming up with a cool little design and just making everything work. And I think they did a great little job there. So check out their site, as I showed you. It's got all the other details. Hit the like button, chat down in the comments, hit the subscribe. Until then, we'll catch you next time.